Hello, you're welcome back to a new session. Still talking about the book Stigma by Samson O. Shobayo. Today we're looking at chapter 1 of the book. So it's been 21 years since Mrs. Okechukwu and Mrs. Ajayi gave birth to their daughters in the same hospital at the same time. Now the two girls named Tiwa and Nkiru are in the same university. This chapter 1 opens with both of them walking along the corridor in their campus when they noticed that Lanre was stalking them. Both girls decide to ignore him, but suddenly Tiwa turns around boldly facing him. The way she turned forced him to walk to them for a friendly chat. He tried to introduce himself, but Tiwa cut him short with a question: "What do you want?" Tiwa's impatience with Lanre does not surprise Nkiru because Nkiru already knows that Tiwa was very impatient and rude at times. Tiwa tells Lanre that she was not interested in whatever he had to say as she drags Nkiru away. As they left, Nkiru felt very sorry for him and she tells Tiwa that she should not have been rude. Tiwa informed her that Lanre was not worth talking to because of his fake jean trouser. She cleared Nkiru's doubt when she told her that if he had been wearing original designers, she may be more inclined to giving him an audience. She chides Nkiru for not being classy enough. For her, poor men have nothing good to offer anyone. This incident and Tiwa's behavior worried Nkiru, who wondered why Tiwa had a penchant for rudeness, even though most of the time she was fun to be with. Nkiru places no importance on clothing, but she was curious to know how Tiwa could tell that what Lanre was wearing was fake. Then she stops herself from asking her because she knew that Tiwa would break into a lecture about fashion. At this point, we are told about how Tiwa and Nkiru's friendship began. It began through their mothers that had them on the same day, at the same time, and in the same hospital. They attended the same primary and secondary schools and are now in the university together. Tiwa's parents are wealthy, while Nkiru's father was a civil servant and her mother a trader. As the two girls walked away from Lanre, he queried Tiwa's rudeness to him, and he noted that he was interested in Nkiru and not Tiwa. He promised himself that he would seize any opportunity he sees Nkiru alone to speak to her. However, Nkiru warns Tiwa of the bad reputation she was building for herself in the campus. Nkiru feared that her best friend may soon be known as an arrogant snob. Tiwa, on the other hand, was thoroughly impressed with herself for the way she treated Lanre. For her, men are already used to such rude treatment from women. She hopes that experience will help her discern the serious men from the unserious ones. That night, Tiwa and Nkiru hang out with Chuks and Ola in Chuks' Honda Civic car. It was a gift from Chuks' father, a transport magnate. Chuks took them to the cinema to see a movie, after which they went to an eatery to eat and drink. Chuks is Tiwa's boyfriend who spoiled her with lots of money and gifts. Now let's talk about the significance of the events that we just read about in chapter 1. Firstly, the events of this chapter reveal that the families of Mrs. Ajayi and Mrs. Okechukwu have become very close friends. Because of giving birth at the same time in the same hospital, these two women became friends and that united their families. And now the two daughters they gave birth to on that day are now friends. The events also let us know that Tiwa and Nkiru are now 21 years old and are now in the university after doing primary and secondary school together. We also learned that Tiwa does not have good character, while Nkiru has good character. We know this because of the way Tiwa spoke to Lanre, despite Nkiru's warnings. We also learned that Tiwa is vain. She's very materialistic, while Nkiru is very modest. She never cares for material things. From this chapter, we also know that Lanre likes Nkiru, and it's very obvious why he would like her. Nkiru is very modest and has good character. Tiwa believes that men should also expect rudeness from females, which is why she treated Lanre the way she did. Now, these events we saw in the first chapter help to support two themes for us. The first theme is the dangers of stigmatization. Stigmatizing somebody means making somebody feel that they are not part of the society, either because of their health or their social status. We can see what Tiwa did to Lanre. She did not want to associate with him because for her he was too poor. Another thing we can get from this particular chapter is the dangers of materialism. Tiwa is carried away by material wealth, and for her, once somebody is rich, that person should be associated with, regardless of whether the person has good character or not. Good character means nothing to Tiwa as long as that person meets her expectations of social status. Now that we are done with reading this, I'm going to show you these comprehension questions that will help you evaluate what you have read to make sure that you understood every single thing. Comprehension questions also help you with your memory to remember the details of the chapter that you have just read. Now, the first question says, what is the name of the man stalking the two girls? Can you remember? Number 2, what was Nkiru's reaction towards Tiwa's attitude? Number 3, why didn't Tiwa like Lanre? Number 4, what is Nkiru's father's occupation? Number 5, what does Nkiru's mother do for a living? Number 6, what is the name of Tiwa's boyfriend? And finally, number 7, what is the name of Tiwa's boyfriend's car? Try to answer all these questions to make sure that you have understood what you have read. We're going to be talking about chapter 2 in our next session. Thank you for listening. Bye.